Oh my God, I'm moving! Oh my God, I'm moving. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. My name is Shadeja Renee. Y'all, I'm super excited. I am moving, so I thought to document this journey so I can show you guys where I'm moving from and where God is moving me to. So let's go. Y'all, I just got to take a moment to worship him right now because God has been so good to me. And I just got to give him all the glory, honor, and praise. And so I just wanted to come before you today to give my testimony on how God was faithful on his word. I had a promise manifested in my life. I had to open this up with a praise and worship because God is so good. He deserved all the glory, honor, and praise, especially for my life. Because I wouldn't be where I am, who I am, doing what I do if it wasn't for the grace of God. He has brought me a mighty long way. And so today I just wanted to come before you guys and just share my testimony about how God answered one of my prayers that I've been praying all my life. The dreams do come true, that God hear us when we communicate with him. And so when I was in a dark place in my life, somebody else's testimony gave me hope. So I want to do that for you. I want to give hope to the hopeless. I want to let you know that that dream that you have, that promise that God has promised you, that if you hold on, you will see the full manifestation of it. The Bible tells us to write the vision and make it plain. And a long time ago, I wrote this vision down. But the verse after is what we always skip over. It said, although the vision may tarry, to wait for it. Although the vision may tarry, to wait on it. And I want to share that with you. Although it don't look like it's going to come to full manifestation, although it don't look like it's going to happen, even though your circumstances tell you that it's not possible to believe God, because all things is possible with God. What looks impossible to man and with the natural eye, with the fleshly eye, is possible with our Lord and Savior. And so, y'all, I've been got off into this thing and started preaching. But let me get to this testimony. I'm going to take y'all back so y'all can see where I'm just so excited and I have so much joy about this. When I was 5 years old, my mom, she started flying me to California to see my relatives. And I remember when I was here, every summer that I would come, I would fall in love with it more and more and more. And I didn't want to go home. I'm like, I love it here. And I remember start saying, I'm going to move to California. I'm moving to California. This one, I'm going to live. And I remember saying that since I was a little girl. And I remember telling myself when I graduate from college, I'm moving to California. Like, I know where I want to go already. I started to look up places in California to come move to. And it was so expensive when I would look it up. I wasn't where I am today in my faith. If I was, baby, I would have been gone a long time ago. But at that time, when I looked it up, it was so expensive. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to move right now directly after college. But I promise you I'm going to go live in California. I promise you I'm going to move there. And so as time goes on and life goes on, it's very important who you have around you, because I remember sharing my dream and my vision to others about how I wanted to live in California. And, that was my dream, and I've always desired to be there. And when God put a desire in your heart, it's for a reason. Don't let anybody else tell you what's impossible. Because when I shared those dreams to people, people told me that it was impossible to live in California. It was impossible to go there with X amount of dollars that was in my bank account. It was impossible to start a family here. That it was impossible. It's too expensive. Why would you want to go there? People told me that. And after so long, when you don't see the promise come to pass and you keep praying and having faith, you will begin to believe the things that they were saying. And so I kind of just swept it under the rug and said, well, if I go, okay, I will. If I don't, sure, whatever. If it's meant for me to be there, I'll go. But I started to believe the things that the people was telling me. And I remember years ago when I was doing Lyft, I picked up a set of passengers from the airport. And I'm like, where are you guys coming in from? And they said California. And it brung back everything I've ever said about me desiring to go there. And I began to share it with them like, oh my God, I've always desired to live there, but it's too expensive. And I started telling them what people told me. And they was like, no, it's not as bad as you think. It's possible. It's possible. Yes, it's expensive, but it's possible. And when they said that, my faith kicked back in. That what's impossible with man is so possible with God. And we cannot go off of what other people would say, because we would never get to our end destination if it was based off of what somebody else said. From their eyes, you're right. It is impossible. From your bank account, maybe it's impossible. But my source comes from the Lord. My provider is Jesus Christ. If that's what I need to get there, He gonna make sure I got it if it's in His will. And so I remember being in that car, and passengers that was in that car with me that day, if y'all are watching, can I say thank you from the bottom of my heart? Because y'all made me believe again. Y'all made me dream again. Y'all let me know that it was possible to do what I've always wanted to do. I didn't know y'all from a can of paint, but y'all spoke life into me that day, and it did something for me. And so, y'all, I'm a crybaby for the Lord, so I might get emotional. But what they said to me was, no, it's possible. And before we talked about it the whole ride, of everything. And then before they got out the car, they said something that stuck with me. They said, can we be the first ones to congratulate you for living in California? Because we're going to see you there one day. And y'all, I'm here. Glory be to God. I'm here. In December of 2019, the Lord told me that I was getting ready to move. It wasn't like a specific physical move, but I was being elevated in my spirit, in my faith. He needed me to go deeper, to be anchored in Him, to completely surrender and submit every area that I was trying to handle and give it to Him. And so during that season, my faith got built and strengthened to another level. And I believe it was for this move right here. In 2020, the Lord told me that I was moving. And I was like, we're in the middle of a P. You know what P is. YouTube is weird. I can't say it. But in the middle of an economic crisis where the world is suffering and everybody is going through and financial hardship is taking place and people are losing their jobs, the Lord spoke to me and said, you're moving. And I'm like, I had to hear Him wrong. Lord, you know my situation right now. You know what's going on in the world. And I haven't been saving to move. I haven't been preparing to move. That was the last thing that was on my mind, thinking about moving in the middle of an economic crisis. And during that time, I'm going to just be real and raw. During that time, my rent had increased. And my finances decreased because I did not lose my job. I was grateful to still have a job, but our hours dropped tremendously. And so I wasn't bringing in the same income that I once was. And I was trying to figure out how I was making this much and my bills was up here. But every month, God sustained me. It was paid. When I do the calculations, it don't add up. But God did that. He is my provider. So when I say that He's my provider, I mean that, because I've been in some situations where the outcome was supposed to be different, and he supplied my every need. And so during that time, he spoke that to me, and I said, Lord, I can't be hearing you, right? Are you sure? So I began to pray and seek his face to get an understanding on what it was that he was speaking to me. And I kind of was like, oh, that wasn't him. So I didn't move on it. I kind of left it at bay. And time goes on and time goes on, and I started to feel a move. And in 2021 of March, the Lord spoke to me very clear and vivid. Start packing. And I said, start packing? Where I'm going, Lord? Because we have a tendency to ask him questions when he speak a thing, because I didn't know where I was going, when I was moving. He just told me to start packing. Now, California wasn't even in my thought process. I definitely wasn't thinking about Cali at this time. I had stopped thinking about that for a little bit during this time. And I was like, start packing? But I was just in my season of faith and trusting and being obedient. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to start packing. And I'm going to insert a small video right here. Lord, where you moving me to? I done rearranged my whole car because you told me to move. Where you taking me to? And so I packed up my whole truck, as y'all can see from that video. And I went home and I started packing every day, not knowing where I was going, not knowing when I was leaving, not worried about my financial status, because I knew I wasn't prepared to move. So this had to be a God thing. And it reminded me that in 2020, I heard him right. When he first spoke that thing to me, that was him. And so I started packing up my whole house. Every chance I get, I was packing something. And God moves in a suddenly. It don't take God long to do anything. To me, I'm like, oh, I can pack this much today. I can pack that much today. But God was moving. I would say it was March when he spoke that to me to start packing. In June, he told me where I was going and when I was going. And he told me that there was a place prepared for me to go get it. And so on Crazy Faith, I got on the airplane. I flew to California. I rented a car. And the whole day I spent looking for a place to stay. I said, my Father prepared a place for me. And he told me to start packing. And now that I've packed and he gave me clear instructions to pack and I was obedient, he gave me the next step. He told me to go find the place that I prepared for you. And so I flew out here. I went looking for a place that was prepared for me. I didn't know where to start, what to look for, none of that. But I came in obedience. I came in crazy faith. Only crazy faith will make you get on the plane, rent a car, and come drive around going to every establishment that you would desire, hoping that one of them is the door that God said that was yours. I did that. I'm going to insert a clip right here.
Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Shadeja Renee. The Lord told me to start recording and document this journey. Y'all, right now, I am literally heading to the airport. I am going off of faith. The Lord told me that I was moving to Los Angeles, California, and that there's a place that's been waiting on me. So I am going off faith to go find this place. And it is 4:50 a.m. right now. I'm headed to the airport. And so I touch bases with you guys when I land, and I'm gonna take you on this journey with me, because I believe it's truly gonna bless somebody, and I'm excited to see what the Lord is about to do through me. This walk is purely faith and obedience, so come along for the ride. See you soon. Hey y'all, so I just touched down in Los Angeles, California, and I'm gonna give y'all a little backstory of why I'm here. A few months ago, the Lord told me a few months ago to start packing. And I started packing my whole house.
Y'all seeing that video that I had just touched down at my rental location, and I was about to get my rental car. So when I got here, I went everywhere that I could in the days that I was here. And then I went back home, and the enemy, he's a tricky one. He tried to discourage me on the way back home, because although I didn't leave with a lease, because on the way there I said, oh, I'm leaving with my lease. If God told me that there was a place for me, I'm gonna leave with it. But when I got back on the plane to go home, I didn't find a place, and it was getting down to the nick and cranny of when he told me that I would be out of there. And so it really took me to trust him on a level that I've never trusted before. And when I got back home, the enemy started to try to play with me about this whole situation. And I said, no, I believe you, God. And I remember him prophesying to me through a neighbor. And she reiterated some of the things that God had already spoke to me about me moving, about when I was moving, where I was moving, how I was moving. And it was crazy because I never had received a prophecy at that level before with that much accuracy of what God had already spoke to me. And so I said, okay. And I remember she told me, God told me to tell you, even up to the 30th day, even up to the last day, to trust him. And I said, okay, Lord. And so that stuck with me. Even up to the last day that I have here, I'm going to trust you, God. If everything is not laid out with a label from A to B to C to D, even though I don't understand it, it ain't clear to me, I'm going to trust you with this move because I put it in your hands. And so when I got back home, I didn't come home with a lease. And I was like, okay, it's okay. I still trust you, Lord. And I know that this move is ordained by you and everything like that. And so I began to start packing. Another level of faith. I knew the date he told me I was going to exit. So I needed to put in my 30 days notice so that I can be out of there. Without me knowing where I need somebody to catch this in the spirit. Without me knowing where I was going to live within 30 days, not having a place signed to go to when I leave here to go somewhere, I didn't have the next location. But on faith, I went to the office and I handed in my 30 days notice. I would be exiting on this day. I didn't know where I was going, y'all. Another level. I called every utility company that I was established with and I canceled every service. And they was like, well, you know, if we cancel this, then you're not going to be able to have water after this date. I said, I won't be here. I know. Cancel it. On faith, I canceled it, not knowing where I was going, y'all. Let me tell y'all how good God is. It was in July. Now, in July is when I was relocating. In July, I started to look for how I was going to ship my car to get to California, figuring out different ways of how I was going to transport all of my personal items that I wanted to keep here. And the rates was through the roof because we just came out of an economic crisis. Well, we were still in it, but we just things are starting to slowly open back up. So everybody trying to capitalize. So they was trying to charge me $2,500 to ship my car. They was trying to charge me like $3,000 to ship all my stuff. It was an arm and a leg. Like it was out of control. And so the Lord just kept telling me, be patient. He have another way for me to get my things there. And so I end up renting a U-Haul and attaching my car to the back of it. On an auto transport. And that was more of a reasonable affordings for me to transport all of my things and my car at the same time. That still was a healthy price, but I'm going to tell you how good God is in a second with that. So I had everything cut off in my home. I turned in my 30 days notice. I didn't have a place that I was going to after this. And I literally had 3 weeks left. And so I started selling everything in my house because I needed the funds to have a security deposit, first month, last month's rent, to be able to afford to get all of my stuff shipped there, ship my car, have the gas money, all the things that I was going to need. I needed to come up with these funds within 3 weeks. Let me tell you how good my God is. I sold everything in my house that I didn't want. And every day I had like a garage sale to sell something, but my furniture pieces is the last things I had. And those items didn't sell in the garage sale because I couldn't bring all that stuff outside. So make a long story short, it was down to like 4 days left. Me living in the place I was at. I had all the furniture still. I still didn't have all the funds together. I still didn't have everything paid for me to get there. And I still did not have a place to live. 4 days left. 4 days. And what kept me is that I remember her saying, the Lord said, even down to the 30th day, trust me. Even down to the last day, trust me. I had 3 days left, and the young lady who I'm renting from now, she called me and said, when you was here, you inquired about this place, and we calling you back to see if you were still interested. And I told her that the price that she was renting for, I couldn't afford. I'm going to just be honest. I can't afford that. And I want to be able to pay your rent every month on time. And I can afford what you're asking. Are you willing to negotiate with me on your pricing? And she said, well, I'm willing to listen. What is it that you can afford? And I told her my price. And she was like, ooh, I need to call my husband and make sure that that's okay. Like, can I get back to you? And I said, okay. And she was like, when do you need to be out? I'm like, in 3 days. I need to have a place to stay. And I was like, but take your time, and let me know. And she said, okay. So she ended up calling me back when I had 2 days left in the place. And she called me back and said, me and my husband talked about what you said. And because you believe, because you have a dream, and because you're trying to do great things, we're going to accept the price that you can afford. And your lease will be here when you get here. Your keys will be here when you get here. And we look forward to meeting you. Y'all, I could have fell out the chair backwards crying. I was so excited. I was so ecstatic. God had did that thing down to my last 2 days for me. I had a place to stay, but I still have my furniture. And I'm like, okay, now that I got a place to stay, how am I going to get this lady her security deposit? How am I going to get this lady her rent? And how am I going to pay for all this other stuff? 2 days left, right? The day before that, I had called a friend to see if they wanted to purchase my bedroom set. So they came over to look at it. They purchased that. Not only that, they said, what's that over there? They saw the living room set and wanted to buy that too. Tell me God ain't good. He made a way. Y'all, God will make a way for you when it's according to his will and his way. When you be obedient, when you be still and know that he is God, he will open up the storehouse of heaven and pull you out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive. He will show up and show out on your behalf. We be stressing and worried about stuff. We need to have every dot connected. But the God I serve, baby, I still can't calculate what he did for me because he just that good and it don't add up. It's his grace that got me here. It's his favor that brought me this far. It's the goodness of God. It's because I believed and I had faith. He said, be it unto your faith. How much do you believe? It's according to your belief. Is the way I'm going to bless you. Y'all, I was out there in the deep and I couldn't turn back. And I was like, Lord, I'm trusting in you for this thing. And I'm believing on you to do exactly what you said you was going to do. And I'm not going to stress about it. I turn it over to you. And he did it, y'all. He did it. He made a way. He sold all my furniture within the last 2 days. He allowed me to have my deposit, my rent, my last month's rent, the next month's rent. He allowed me to be able to pay for the U-Haul and get it here. And not only that, with the U-Haul, with the transport, it was a separate price. And so we needed to be on the road by 2 p.m. in order for everything to work out how we wanted it to. And when we got to the U-Haul place, everything already was pre-reserved. And when we got there, they told us that somebody had took our auto transport and it may not be available to the next day or later that night, like at 11 p.m. And so I could have easily been upset in the spirit because I needed to be at 2 p.m. and it was already reserved. And why is it not here if I've already asked for it? I wanted to go there. I did. But I said, Lord, have your way. And I told the man, well, can we take the U-Haul truck? We're going to go start packing the U-Haul. And when we come back, maybe it'll be here. Or can you find one for me? Because we would love to leave today by 2 p.m. And he said, okay. So we end up leaving. We packed up the U-Haul truck and we got done. We got done a little early. And so we headed over to the U-Haul place because we hadn't heard anything, just to see. When I tell you God is so good, we pulled up on the U-Haul lot. And it was an auto transport sitting there in the lot at 2 p.m. We wasn't on the road by 2 p.m. But my God made a way. The person who had took it, they got done early, so they returned it early. And I was able to get that U-Haul, the auto transport reserved to me. And not only that, my God. The manager told me, I've been doing this for years and I've never seen nobody as calm as you when you know you finna make a cross country move like this and your stuff ain't where it's supposed to be. People would have cursed me out. They would have flipped out. They would have called me everything but a child of God. But you was different. You was calm. And because of that, we're going to give you the auto transport for free. We're going to give you the auto transport for free. All you have to do is pay for the activation fee, pay for the truck, and pay for the activation fee of the auto transport. And don't worry about the fee. That's on us for our mistake. When I tell you God to turn that thing around, what the enemy meant for evil, for your good, it was good that the auto transport was there when I first pulled up, because I would have had to pay for it. But God told me that he had me, and I don't have to pay $2,500 to ship my car to California when he was going to let me ship it for free. Oh, God, sometimes we got to be patient and wait on the Lord. We have to be still and know that God is God, because he'll work that thing out for us. Had I would have acted a fool up in that place because they didn't have my auto transport, I wouldn't have had it that day either, because of the ugly spirit. You reap ugly things. But because I had a spirit of the living God, because I walked in there knowing that God is my supplier, and if he told me I was leaving today, there ain't nothing gonna stop it. Everything worked out for me perfectly. We was on the road before 3 p.m. with a free auto transport, with my car being shipped for free. And that's why he told me it's important to be in tune with the spirit, because he told me not to pay $2,500 to ship my car there. I didn't know that this was why. I didn't know that this was why. Had I moved on my behalf and tried to jump the gun, I would have missed out on that opportunity for God to show himself to me. But he showed himself to me that he got me. He got me. And so we got in that U-Haul, we got on the road, and it's been up since. Like, God has really showed up and showed out. And it was just me and one other person that helped me move here. We drove 30 hours to get here, and that journey was amazing. It was the best long road drive. I'm not really a road trip kind of girl. You put me on a plane, I'll be there in 30 minutes. I'll meet you there. But for this trip, it was worth every hour, every minute, because I dreamed of this since I was a little girl. This was a dream that I've asked God for since before I can remember. And he brought this thing full circle to me in the middle of an economic crisis. God moved me across the country when I didn't have it. I didn't have it. Down to the last 2 or 3 days, he provided for me. I didn't have it to move. Not in my own bank account. It didn't add up. I wasn't preparing for a move. It was a suddenly thing. God showed himself to me in real time. But God still showed up and showed out. And that's why he say his timing is not our timing, and our ways is not his ways, because I would have never thought to pack up anything and move to California during this time. One of the most expensive states there is. God moved me here in the middle of an economic crisis. Tell me that ain't a God move. And I've been sustained since I've been here. My rent been paid every month on time before time. My bills been paid on time every month before time. God has literally made a way for me. And I want to encourage you that if you believe in God to do anything for you, know that he got you down to the last day, down to the last anything. God got you. Don't look at your bank account, because if I looked at mine, I'd still be in Chicago. But God said, I will provide for you. Where do your sources come from? Your inheritance is riches. You got to speak those things that are not as if they were so. Y'all, I can remember the days I would go outside after I had that Lyft encounter. And even a few months before I even came here, I remember I used to go outside my door and I used to look at the trees and say, Lord, thank you for allowing me to see these palm trees. Thank you for my new view, God. And I was in Chicago. Call me crazy, but it's only crazy until it happens. And it's happening, y'all. I am here looking at palm trees in real life. When I step out my backyard, when I step on the front porch, I see mountains. I see palm trees. I dreamt of this. These pictures was on my vision board. And now they in my real view. When I used to be in that I-90, 94 traffic, I used to be like, whoa, this California traffic is something else. In Chicago on the expressway. And now I'm in California for real in traffic. Like, y'all have to speak those things that are not as if they were so. And by default, God he would give you the desires of your heart. He would, if you have pure intentions, if you in right relationship with him, if you're not just under him to get what he can give, but just to embrace him and praise him for who he is, he would do He would do for you. The Bible tells us it is his good pleasure to bless us. Just how he did it for me, he'll do it for you. What are you believing God for that you haven't had enough faith to activate it? Because your faith going to activate that thing. Your faith is going to activate it. What is it that you have believed God for that you have swept under the rug? What is it that you have been asking God to do for you and your family that you have forgotten about or you not believing for anymore? I encourage you to believe again. I encourage you to have faith. I encourage you to speak those things that are not as if they were so, and watch how God began to move in your life. The Lord told me to move in March. He told me to start packing in March. By July, I was in my new place, y'all. That's 2 months. God can move like this. God can move. It don't take him long to do a thing. It take us long. It take us a long time. But if we in right alignment, if we being obedient to when he tell us to do something, God will cover you. I don't think y'all understand. Y'all, I didn't have it to come here. I had gave up hope at one point until I ran into that couple in that car. And God did something for me. He did something for me that I'm forever grateful for. I'm forever grateful for, y'all. I used to walk outside and look at a big old regular tree. If anybody from Chicago have ever been or that live up that way, y'all know what kind of trees we got. And I used to look at the tree and say, Lord, thank you so much for these palm trees I'm looking at. Baby, it wasn't a palm tree in sight, but in my mind it was. You got to see it before you see it. I envision myself looking out my windows at the sunshine, looking out my windows at the palm trees, looking out my windows at my new view, at my new life. And God did that thing for me. He provided the entire move. And I ain't looked back since. I'm so grateful to be here. Lord, I love you. I thank you, Jesus, for doing this for me. I'm so grateful, God. I encourage all of you today just to believe God. He said, if faith is small as a mustard seed, mountains will begin to move. Imagine what you had with crazy faith. Imagine what you had with crazier faith. And God is doing something for me right now that takes crazier faith. And TC Nation, if you're watching, you know we in a season right now where we are doing a series of crazier faith. And so now I'm on this journey of crazier faith. And I'm believing God to do something, above and beyond. Okay? And I'll be able to testify to that thing too. But I just want to encourage you. You don't have to start with crazy faith. You don't have to start with crazier faith. Start where you are. Just believe him. And if you don't know how, tell him, Lord, I'm trying to trust you, but I don't really know how. Can you help me? And he will. Our God is so precious. Our God is concerned about what you are concerned about. He want to meet you right where you are. Just like an infant, they don't start eating solid food. They start with baby milk. Start with baby milk of faith. That's okay. He accept that. He accept that. All he care about is the relationship that you and him have. He'll accept that. He'll accept your baby faith. That's fine. A mustard seed. Do y'all know how small a mustard seed is? If you can just believe it a little bit, if you can just have faith a little bit, he said he'll move with that. And so I just wanted to share my testimony today on how God moved me from Chicago to my dream location, y'all. I'm in California, loving it. I used to always say, I'm a West Coast girl. I'm such a West Coast girl. Like I used to always say that and wasn't nowhere near the West Coast. I was in Chicago. But you got to see it to believe it. You got to envision it before it really come to pass. And you have to believe God. Because with man, nothing is possible. But with God, all things are possible. I love you guys so much. I pray that this encouraged somebody to believe again, to have faith again. God sees you. He loves you. And y'all know what I always say. Every day we wake up, We have another opportunity at life, and whatever it is we want to accomplish. The ball is in your court. Y'all, somebody did not wake up today. So we ought to be grateful that we are above and not beneath. Like somebody didn't make it through this economic crisis. It took them out. But God is evident that the same God that he was back then, he is that right now. That he is still in the blessing and miracle working business. That the stories that we hear in the Bible, he didn't just want it to stay a story. He wanted those to be examples of what he can do for us in this time, in real time. And I just want somebody to believe again, because the sky's the limit. We can do whatever we put our minds to. The ball is in your court. Make today count. I love you guys. See you next time. Bye.